speeches for very good material against Hillary Clinton, starting with "she has bad judgment"?
Well, look, the Republican Party will have dozens of oppositional researchers. They don't need my speeches to talk about Hillary Clinton. I mean, things like the Clinton Foundation or things like the email situation. I don't talk about that. I have never talked about it one word on this campaign. I suspect very much that Donald Trump and the Republican Party will go after her in many, many ways that we have not.
All right, so that was Senator Bernie Sanders speaking with NBC's Chris Jansen. Yesterday brought a bit of a grim headline. The campaign would be letting go dozens of staffers. The campaign says they'll get rid of 225 people while keeping about 300 on, particularly in California, Indiana, and Kentucky. And they say it's because they no longer need many of their national and state level staff, particularly in primaries already completed.
With us now from Burlington, Vermont, wife of Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders, Jane Sanders. She's a political advisor to his campaign and the former president of Burlington College in Vermont. Jane, we always love talking to you. Your husband's campaign has been an inspiring campaign from the start. What can you tell Bernie Sanders supporters about this news and also about the state of the campaign? Are you guys still in it to win it, or you're just in it to make a point?
No, absolutely in it to win it. You know, you remember in mid-March, after a string of losses, the media wrote his political obituary, and we came back to win 8 in a row. So we're expecting to do the same here. It was a difficult time. We knew that New York had 3 million independents that couldn't vote in the closed primary, and they would have had to change their party registration back in October last year. 4 out of the 5 contests that were just done last Tuesday were closed primaries again. The open primary, Rhode Island, we won. Connecticut, we came very, very close. And if it had been an open primary, we have no doubt we would have won. Pennsylvania, we would have come close or won. So we're feeling good, and most of the primaries going forward are open, which I think is much more democratic. It's also a smarter move for the Democratic Party, because if you close the primary and you only have people that have been in the Democratic Party for years, what you are doing is effectively shutting the door on the millions of people that Bernie has brought into the political process during this election. So we're going to go forward.
So there is, a lot of discussion about whether or not Bernie Sanders, candidate Sanders, should be talking at all about Hillary Clinton, that at this point he ought to stick to issues without naming her name. Any type of pointed attack is damaging to the party as a whole. Donald Trump even saying that he might use some of Sanders' material against Hillary Clinton. To that, what do you say?
Well, as Bernie said, they have good opposition researchers, and they have a lot more that they will use than a simple statement that Bernie will have said. I mean, he's in an election. He's in a contest. He has to draw contrasts between them. So he will say, I'm for a $15 minimum wage. Secretary Clinton is for a $12 minimum wage. I'm very firmly against fracking and concerned about climate change. Secretary Clinton has really supported fracking as Secretary of State very, very effectively. There are a lot of differences between them. It's not an attack. It's not personal. We're not talking about our character. We're talking about different views. And I think that is what we need to do in a democracy. We need to offer a clear choice. These two candidates offer very different visions for the future, and we need to make them clear.
Jane, it's Willie Geist. It's good to see you this morning. Obviously, Bernie has dominated among younger voters, but one of the places I think you would even admit he's been disappointed is in his support from minority voters, particularly Latino and African American, where Hillary Clinton has really dominated. How do you change that narrative, and how do you change that trend as you head to a place like California, where he'll certainly need that? And how do you explain that, given that his message of income inequality in particular encompasses and should capture so many of those voters?
It's been a disappointment, and I think if he was running against anybody but Hillary Clinton, who was the anointed one, who is the most well-known person that is running for office in this country and in the world. So, and she has a good relationship with the African American community that goes back decades. So that hurts us. It helps her. We are making inroads, and especially among those under 45, we're winning across races among those under 45. So it takes a while for them to get to know Bernie. Latinos were winning in a number of states. We've been winning. We've been picking up all along. And so we're going to just keep on doing that. It's basically getting out in front of them, talking with them, letting them know that he's concerned about the issues that affect them, and that his general bold vision for the future actually affects them disproportionately. Because they're, as you say, a lot of them have lower incomes. They concerned about the cost of higher education and a number of the issues that Bernie puts out there.
Jane Sanders, thank you very much for being on the show. We will see you again soon, we hope.
Thanks so much,
thank
Jane.
you.
Greatly appreciate it.